Good morning, Josh. How are you doing?
Good morning, Aaron. I'm doing great. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. Dude, before we even get started, I got to ask you a question. You being from Kannapolis, I'm here in Charlotte. That bridge is between Kannapolis and Concord. Do you ever get dizzy on that thing when you travel back home?
Absolutely.
Oh, my.
Absolutely. I'm more of a back road kind of boy, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Avoid I-85 at all costs.
I do know what you mean, because to me, you haven't seen the Carolinas unless you have done the back roads, because it's like a roller coaster.
Oh, absolutely.
What are you learning on this journey where you are right now? Because, I mean, all of a sudden, because the Carolinas have always had superstars and a lot of great bands and performers have come from here. What are you personally bringing into the picture today?
Gosh, where to start? I'll tell you, man, I've learned so much about the process and just, I'm 35 now, so I've lived a little bit of life, but there's always something new, around every turn with this thing with the voice. And I'm just so grateful for the experience. And, I'm really grateful for all the support that I've got here back at home. I mean, everybody's real close knit. And, as far as musically, I would say, the biggest thing is, trust your intuition. Growing up, I was always kind of pushed to be very polished, whether it be in the church music, growing up in the gospel scene, or playing out, touring later on in life in the secular music, the rock and roll, southern rock, country scene. It's always been practiced, until you can't get it wrong, kind of thing. And so it still has really allowed me to become more creative and to open up and just kind of relax and just, sit in that certainty, if you will. Just kind of be yourself, take a breath, don't think, just do. And so I think the show has really helped me in that way.
What church in Kannapolis did you grow up in? Because, I mean, when I think of Kannapolis, I always think of Cannon Village, which was such a major, major attraction to the world. Oh,
yeah. So Cannon Village, funny, my dad and my brother and I, we actually stood across the street in the Hardee's parking lot when they demoed the entire meal there. I remember them blowing it to the ground. And I actually grew up primarily going to a church that's still going today, Charity Baptist Church.
Wow.
My father served as the music minister there when they started that church, and was there for about 10 or 11 years of his life doing ministry there.
I got to preach in a church in Kannapolis, and to this day it's still with me, because it was the very first time that the congregation was actually using their energy to talk back with me as the message was being delivered. And I had never had that before, where people were, amen, oh, you just say the way it is, buddy, let me hear some more.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's that affirmation, man. To have them. I'll say it often. Even our people at our church, I'll say, y'all gonna have to help me preach this today. If I feel like lagging behind and they're not talking to me, I tell them, the more they talk back to me, the better I'll preach. So,
oh my God, it's so true.
Say that. Very much a culture here, yeah.
Oh my God, and it really, and at first, I was stunned by it, but really, it gave me the energy to dig in deeper and go further with the actual message itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful feeling when you've got that support coming back at you like that.
Yeah, a lot of people they look at the South here as having a church on every corner. Well, yeah, there is, but unless you're in there preaching, you're missing out on the best part of it.
Absolutely, man. Amen. Yeah, that's very true. It's been a wonderful place to grow up, for sure.
Absolutely. So, playing on a cruise ship, how do you stay engaged with people that you're with for 3 or 4 days?
Oh yeah. So more or less, as far as the cruise ships go, I never actually worked for the line or the cruise line, but I was able to participate on a couple of the Simple Man cruises and the Rock Legends cruises with an all original Southern rock band here in local Charlotte area. And, man, we got to play alongside of, Skinner and ZZ Top.
Oh, my God.
George Thurgood, Edgar Winter, Molly Hatchet. I mean, and the list goes on. Brantley Gilbert, Band of Horses, Aaron Lewis, Blackberry Smoke.
Oh.
And I could sit here and burn your ear, but it was a huge lineup, and I believe I was able to do 3 or 4 of those, and that was an amazing experience. But yeah, you got to think those rock cruises and Southern rock cruises, man. It was just a 4-day party is all it was. It was, I mean, from 9 a.m. to 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was rock and roll from sun up to sundown.
Well, see, that's what I like about going to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, man, and camping out on the infield. That's a 4-day party. What do you mean there's a race going on?
If you even make it to the race.
So true. So true. Playing the bass guitar in the worship band, I go to Elevation now, and they have proven to me that the worship band is so important to the process of receiving the message. Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I tell you, I heard a pastor talking about it one time, and he was kind of talking on the topic of which is more important, the worship or the word.
Yeah.
And everyone chimed in and gave their 2 cents and spoke on behalf of whatever they felt, and a lot of them were theologically grounded and had verses to back it up. But there was one guy that stood out to me, and he said, you know what, they're equally as important, because worship is our response to the Lord, but the word is the Lord's response to us.
Yeah,
Worship is how we speak to him, and his word is how he speaks to us. And so there needs to be a good, healthy balance of both. And I just thought that was so wise and so true. There really does need to be a good balance. But yes, sir, you're right. I absolutely agree with that concept that, worship really allows the calluses on our hearts that the world maybe put there, or a hard week or a hard experience might have put there. It allows those calluses to soften so that our hearts can be ready to receive whatever it is that God's going to throw our way that day. So absolutely agree.
I love humming the songs on a Wednesday that were performed on the past Sunday.
That's right, man. Yeah, you get a good song stuck in your head, and it's not going anywhere, and sing it or hum it out. So that happens to me all the time. I was golfing with a friend of mine yesterday, and he plays in a worship band over at a church across town, and I just started singing. I don't know why, but I started singing Dan and Shay's "Save Me the Trouble."
Nice.
And I was doing it. I was just kind of doing it as a joke while we were putting. And he had that was like on the 2nd hole. And I'm not kidding you, man. Every other hole, he was like, thanks a lot, man. And he had it stuck in his head. And I'm pretty sure we pulled away from the golf course. He was still humming that song. So it's so funny how that happened.
Yeah. Where can people go to find out more about you, Josh, and to give you lots of love?
Sure. So you guys can obviously tune in on NBC on my TV to follow my journey there, whether it be on the network or on the Peacock app. But as far as me personally, the best way to follow my journey, I would say right now, is go to Facebook and dial into Josh Ender's music and go ahead and follow along there. And you can find me on TikTok and Instagram, but I would say Facebook's probably the best way to get the updates for what's going on in my world.
All right, when your world gets back to settling down and stuff like that, we got to get together and have some barbecue together, okay?
Hey, absolutely. I'm down. Yes. You don't have to ask me twice.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Hey, thank you so much for having me, man. I really do appreciate it.